Hi everybody, my name is Olivia Gudaniec and I'm your Jobs in Showbiz host, and today we have American cinematographer and film director John Leonetti. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Well, for sure, and me too, in your little cozy little home.
Well, at least the one I'm
Hence the
leasing
sign.
here, visiting Toronto and the wonderful Canadians.
Thank you. We love you here. This guy is so polite, so lovely, just an absolute joy to be around and to work with. So, congratulations on just wrapping up a show. I know it was hard work.
Yeah, it was a challenge, that's for sure, but it's well worth it. I think we have something kind of special.
Amazing. So we will make sure to highlight all of your success today. John has worked on shows such as Wish Upon, Annabelle, Insidious, Dead Silence, The Silence, so many things.
One or two. I've been doing it for 1 or 2 years, actually, like 45 years or something like that.
No big deal. So you're a pro. But it seems that lately it's been in the horror genre. Is there a particular reason for that, or is it just kind of fluke?
It's fluke. I've worked on so many different kinds of movies, and randomly, I was shooting a couple movies for Universal years ago, and one of them was Scorpion King, and then I became as a cinematographer, kind of a Universal boy, I call it, and James Wan, who's just, super talented, smart, wonderful guy, was directing Dead Silence, and he had done the first Saw movie, and this is that was like less than $1 million. Now this is like a $20+ million studio picture.
So many of them.
So they wanted to put an experienced cinematographer with him. I mean, obviously it worked out. I did 5 movies in a row with him, including that.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
it's good when that happens.
Yeah,
You build those
nice
relationships. So I've seen on your IMDb a ton of director of photography credits.
Yeah.
So how did you make that transition from DP to director?
Well, it's interesting. That's a good question, actually. When I was way much younger, as an assistant cameraman, I was working on the original series, The Dukes of Hazzard. If you're old enough to even
No, I've definitely heard of it.
Whatever. And there's this older director, and he's a really nice guy, and he took me under his wing, and he said to me, he said, "I think you should be a director." I never even thought about it.
Oh, wow.
It was really weird. I mean, it's cool, but, whatever.
Yeah.
This is when I'm 25 years old, and so, okay, whatever. And as I moved up the ladder from assistant to camera operator, I would have actors say to me, you should think about directing, John. Because I guess I can relate to people okay, and I'm passionate.
You're pretty good at it.
Whatever, yeah, I guess so. But, so there were sparks put in my psyche, if you will.
And people were encouraging.
Yeah, but I really took my job very seriously. Ever since I was like a second assistant cameraman, I was not one of those people that would ever leave the set. I was always watching the director, the first AD, and the cinematographer, and I would look at the decisions they made, and then I'd ask myself, why are they doing that? And then, hey, what would I do?
That's quite fascinating. Yeah.
And I really paid attention, and
well, it's how you learn too, right?
Yeah,
you're on set.
Yeah, I didn't go to cinema school. I went to college. I got a BA in business economics, but I started working in the business when I was a little boy, young man. My father had a motion picture equipment company, and so it was Italian, Catholic, whatever household, and you have a family business, you go to work in it, randomly that's what happened, and started watching, and then I started learning a lot. Well, I learned a lot about lighting because my dad was the gaffer on Singing in the Rain.
Well, that helps.
He was an electrician on The Wizard of Oz, and so I grew up in a lighting company, and it's like, I learned so much without knowing I was learning it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
And so when you add up all the facets of sort of experience and then my passion for our business and for, telling cool stories, it just kind of happened. It was a very natural progression to go from director of photography or cinematographer.
And it's engraved in you and who you are and the people around you, and it kind of just happened.
It just happened. Yeah, it was.
Did your agent have an impact on you getting more directing jobs? Did you have an agent when you started directing?
I've had agents most of my career as a cinematographer. And depending on what agency you're in, and I've been in many different ones through the years, some of them handle above the line directors, for example, and some of them don't.
What's above the line?
Above the line would be anybody that's above the cinematographer, actually, actors, directors, writers, producers.
So you would definitely recommend somebody who wants to become a director to have an agent, or?
Well,
I know there's no one way.
Well, it's a necessary blessing and evil having an agent. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think a lot of them do really great jobs, and the ones I have now are fantastic. But that being said, through the years, I've always gotten almost all of my own jobs.
Now, reputation is a big key in this business.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So it's hard when you're starting out. You don't have that to get going, but it doesn't mean that you can't still do it.
Now I want to ask you a little bit about the studio side. Are they the ones that hire you? How involved are they? Are they calling you every day? Do you have one point of contact? Do you have 20 people messaging you? I don't know anything about the involvement of the studio and the director. So.
It really depends on the situation. I mean, it's not necessarily a studio, it's producers. It could be from a studio or it could be from an independent production company like Constantine, the German company that did all the Resident Evil movies. There randomly, right after I finished Annabelle, I was going to do another movie with Constantine, potentially a thriller. It was really kind of a cool little story, and it didn't work out, but I'd at least known them, so I had that contact. And it's all random, but how things happen, actually. Sometimes it's your agent, sometimes a studio will know of your talent, and then
it's an emotional business.
Oh,
so you think you got it, and then you got it,
and
then you just pray all the pieces fall together.
It's random. I mean, it really is. And actually, I like that about it.
It's the thrill, it's the excitement in the sense.
It's art.
Yeah.
As well, it's entertainment, but it's art, and art is random. It just comes from within and goes out into the ethos.
The universe.
Yeah, it does.
And I really do believe that the projects you get, you're meant to do them.
I agree with you.
100%. And I'm proud of you because I know there's a social stigma that once you are a director of photography or an actor, to merge into another, I guess, position, it's hard for even people to see you that way. So I really admire that you made that leap and people are taking you seriously and you're successful.
I have a couple of tips for you. The first one is make sure you find and or pick a really good script, because if you don't start with a really good script, it's going to be futile. And make sure it's entertaining and it's something you're passionate about. That's tip number one. Tip number two, follow your instincts. Don't let anybody steer you from your instincts if you're that passionate about it and you feel that strongly about it. Number three, the best idea wins. You're just the one that makes the decision on what that is. First of all, we would have, we both read the script, and what I actually do is I write character profiles of every actor, and I take every character out and write my feelings about every single scene, and the emotions and the psychology of each, and the tone of each scene, and then I hand it to you before we start shooting.
So this would be how you imagine the character.
That's right, in my sensitivity to it. And then I say, so what do you think? So literally before we start shooting, we're both on the same page. One thing I really think is important is to try different things. I don't do a lot of takes, but I'll try different things so that when you're in the editing room, and subtle differences, subtle, things that it really is helpful to be able to have a variation, you know. So it's not like I'm telling you how, I'm not like
right.
coaching you right now, but
Yeah.
but that's more my process, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. So John, if there was another job you could do on set, what would it be and why?
I would like to be a producer. And actually I've got a few producer credits, but I think being a producer and taking a project, getting a script and following it all the way through and not directing it, but producing it, I think I'd be actually pretty good at that, I think, but whatever.
Well, hey, if you ever want to produce something, I'm up for any kind of project.
Very cool. I'll keep you in mind, girl.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, thanks for chatting with me. Please, guys, like, subscribe, and share with your friends if you found this helpful, and we will see you next Tuesday. Bye.
Bye. Take care.